All right, welcome to another video from the chart readers, taking a quick look at the major markets. Usually I start with the NASDAQ. I normally start with QQQ or the NASDAQ itself. Today I'm going to start with the Dow Jones, and for a reason for sure. So before we get into the meat of it, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly. We're going to use our 5 moving averages. There's one down here. I have these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw. And then when we're done up here, we will use the MACD and the RSI to finish it off. So I am starting on the DIA, and then we'll switch in between the Dow Jones Industrial itself for a very specific reason, right? So on the last video, again, you know I don't like to zoom out too much, but we definitely have to here. So on the last video, we established that this is actually the first one to get over the downtrend. So I'm gonna put this right here. You know, I had one person, I'm not gonna say people, I had one person ask me why I don't keep these diagonal trend lines on my view right here. So the program I use, again, I don't have any money in this because there are some limitations, but it lets me do these indicator stacks that others do. The trend line on this program goes from the middle of the candle to the middle of the candle. That's not how I draw it. I draw mine from the corner to the corner, right? And again, it sounds so insignificantly minimal, but it really makes a difference. And you know, again, it's just a matter of how accurate you want to be, right? So I kind of manually draw those. So that's why this is happening. So one thing we talked about was, again, the DIA was able to get over the downtrend, right? When I switch over the exact same view, no zoom out, none of that. When I switch over to the Dow Jones Industrial, exact same chart, right? It got over it. Real good. Again, that's a good thing to do. However, we really talked about getting over this line as well, right? Because this is the peak of it. And again, if you can get over, let me make one more line and I'll do it with this thing. If you can get over, oh, that's not straight at all. Control Z. There we go. That right there. I'm not going to make the horizontal. I kind of could, I'll be honest. It is definitely an important one, right? But getting over that was really going to be more important. In all honesty, that candle itself wasn't the prettiest confirmation candle in terms of, you know, validating the day before's break of the downtrend. So ultimately, I want to kind of stress that this is not the confirmation I normally talk about when I say wait for confirmation, right? I mean, there were points during the day where it actually came well below 50%, right? Because 50% is roughly right there, give or take. We came under that for sure. Again, bounce back up, which is good, but oh man, I do wish that this was something that looked like these, right? Excuse me. So, you know, I'm just saying, wait for Monday to hopefully be better confirmation. Okay. Again, still over everything, makes me real happy. I wish the RSI looked a little better, but hey, we're at least at 70. So there's still room for this to go up, right? Again, looking at the DIA, same thing, right? We want that better day confirmation. We're still at 70. I really wish that the green was up. But again, we've been in this tight thing for a minute. So I'm not too worried about these down here. I just wish confirmation was a little better, and I really wish we got over the peak a little better, right? And again, exact same view right here. You can you remember the line went through. I just wish we got over the peak. Because again, look, at this point, we've either made this like ugly W and then we're going to go up for the win, or what we're really doing is making an M for murder that's going to come down still. And believe me, just like it happened here after what looked like a lot of up and caught a lot of people by surprise on some nasty gaps, you know, it could, right? So I can't stress how we're not out of the downtrend yet, because now I'm not going to go to the QQQ just yet. I'm going to come to the NASDAQ because, again, these death lines. There were moments where NASDAQ was under the death line and others weren't. well under the death line and others weren't. Right now, Dow Jones is out of the downtrend, but none of these are. I don't even have to make the line. You can see it, right? But again, from January, this peak right here to right there, right? That's the next height we hit. We still got to get over 1225 to be out of this downtrend. We're still at 11.3, right? And if you remember, 11.3 was one of my numbers, right? So I like this though. I will say that. I like that we were able to what looks like make a W and break it. So hey, maybe NASDAQ still has a couple good days for sure. But again, until we're right here, right? I should have made a circle, not that line. But until that, we're not over it yet, right? And it's just like these death line situations. I couldn't say scenario as well. Until all three are doing the same thing, it's all noise, right? And it's an easy way to get confused. And that's why I'm still throwing some pessimistic, sprinkles in these last couple of good days of trading, right? So again, look, NASDAQ still seems to be doing well. I'm not trying to take away from that, right? We broke all three. We got confirmation. Perfect, right? We can even come down, retest the 50 and go back up to the 100, right? We still have time before this. Hopefully tomorrow we actually break this, right? If not, get really close. But yeah, the goal would be tomorrow we break 11.5. Then we would hopefully get to 11.7. Then we get to 12, then 12.25, right? 3, 5, and 7 were those in between lines, if you remember watching the videos from not too long ago, right? But NASDAQ still looks good, right? QQQ still looks good because it should be, and it pretty much is the exact same chart, right? RSI, MACDs, they both look all right. Don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is this one's not out of the downtrend yet, right? When we look at the SP500, let's just start with the SPY. When we start with the SPY, again, look, a lot of positivity, right? We're over that cluster. We're actually over the 100 with 2-day confirmation. I love it. I do love it, right? That said, look, this isn't over it yet, right? Again, from January, coming down to the green that we hit, it is that one. All the way through. This thing still needs to get to right here, right? Obviously, like, look, I mean, right here, right? But again, whatever. This is not out of the downtrend. And again, we've started adding the Russell to this, right? Here's the IWM looking at the Russell 2000. This, oh, hold on. I need to redraw the line because this one might be. So, yeah, we're still going to take it from January. It's not. Okay, so again, it's just a different line, but I could have made it from here, don't get me wrong, and then just kind of done that same line. It actually, ooh, interesting. So, real interesting, actually. If you take it from the peak of November through the hit right here, let me change the color of that line. So, from here to that hit, we actually tested that downtrend. From here to that hit, we're not out of the downtrend yet. So that's a little more interesting than I was expecting. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't know what you would call, I mean, technically this is the overall downtrend. Again, we are still under it, right? But this is the steeper downtrend that we're also in. Again, this line up here was for all the other indices, right? So that's why that one's still floating. But real interesting on the Russell, actually. I gotta believe that means something. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this thing. Oh, I can't do it. It's not letting me. All right, that didn't go well. I try to be clever. No, I'm gonna take a screenshot still. I think this is gonna mean something. I don't want to forget after this. Nonetheless, okay, the Russell, I'm not going to pretend I know how to read this, right? Because again, nonetheless, the simple read is we're under both lines. And it definitely tested this one. When I say I don't know how to read it, I just don't know which line is going to matter most. I guess really the answer is they both matter. And like we've been saying with the other ones, if we can get over that peak right there, which is the 200 number, almost to the penny, 201, right? That'll be really important. I'm going to put a line right there. So, okay, Interesting. Like I said, though, the meat of the story was the Dow Jones is the only one over. This one's close. The Russell is close, but it's not there. And then SP500 was close, but was not. Let's see what the SP500 looks like one more time. Because I did SPY. Let's do SP500. Okay, again, see, these lines don't matter. This one's back up here, and it's definitely not close. So I'm going to go back to the IW and not confuse. Oops, IWM. Oh, there's an IWN. Nice, that's a different one. We should probably look at that maybe later. Not on this video, though. But nonetheless, I think this is a good 10 minutes right there. So one more time. NASDAQ looks good. I'm not trying to pretend it's not going to look good, right? And really, even this Russell looks good. S&P 500 looks good. The one that kind of I'm still on the fence on is the Dow Jones, right? I'm gonna kind of end back on the DIA. Okay? Again, we've broken them all, and we're definitely working our way up. MACD still looks real nice, actually. I wish the RSI looked better, and I don't know if that's what's kind of what I'm focusing on more than I probably need. But again, I think we really need to get over this because, like I said, the last thing we want is to form an M for murder. That's a no bueno right there, right? Let's look at the DJ30 one more time, see if there's any other lines that were just freaking me out. No, not really. Again, if we can get over that bad boy, we'll come into the golden sectors. And hey, maybe I'm just still a little baffled, but more than anything, they all need to do the same thing. And I've said that a number of times, and I'm still holding by that. So, hey, maybe the Dow is going to keep bringing them up. Because like I said, the others still look like they want to do well come Monday. So, a little mixed bag on this video. And again, like I said, sometimes it's just a little foggy. And you know, sometimes, and it's not even a sometimes, it is a fact that we're a little limited with this view, right? I have other indicator stacks. I only have one. I shouldn't pluralize that. But the one just has more indicators. And I'll be honest, I haven't looked at that before I made this one, right? So maybe other indicators, maybe more indicators will help kind of paint a different picture, right? But yeah, based on what we're seeing, it's at least a good view, right? At least we have an idea. But again, Google yourself some other indicators and try to see what you can start layering in yourself, right? So that's just how you get better. Make sure you don't over inform and start to confuse yourself, but generally more info is better, right? So hey, I hope you're learning. I sincerely appreciate all the views in the comments, and yeah, let's make some money this week, hopefully, and every week. That's really the goal.